Welcome to the Human Perspective. For our audience of individuals who are deaf and need captioning, we will have it up within 24 hours, possibly sooner. Today we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. I'm excited to have the opportunity to introduce you to Sara Minkara, who I had the privilege to meet when she was 20 years old. Sara is an example of an individual who had a dream and has committed herself to making it a reality. Sara has won numerous awards, including being named one of Forbes' 30 under 30 social entrepreneurs of 2017. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much, Judy. I'm honored and humbled to be here with you.
Me too. You and I both became disabled when we were children. Could you share your story about what happened when you became blind and how your world changed?
So I lost my vision when I was 7 years old. Just like my older sister, one day I woke up and I lost most of my vision. But because of my parents' support, the community support that I grew up in Boston, I was able to actually pursue my own potential, my own dreams. Yes, there's challenges to being blind, like any other person has challenges, but my parents pushed me to believe in my potential, my abilities, and to really be able to pursue my own life. That wasn't the case for most kids out there in the developing world. My parents are originally from Lebanon, and when I used to visit Lebanon during the summers, that's when I realized that my story, my case, is actually the exception, not the reality for most children out there with disabilities.
Thank you very much. Monday, we were talking about this the other day, Sesame Street announced that their new Muppet Julia would be the first Muppet featured with autism, and I think, quite frankly, maybe the first Muppet featured with a disability at all. What are your thoughts on how children view disabilities versus adults?
I think children are just so beautiful. They're pure in their way they perceive disability. The way they perceive each other. They haven't been yet tainted with how society perceives disability, with this pitying narrative, or this is an abnormal narrative. Every single children sees one another, especially when they're younger, in a way that, oh, this kid is different, like I am different, and let's play together, and let's actually build a true inclusive community. I think children are actually really great at doing that. Then later on in society, that's when things become a bit more tainted.
So I think also for our audience, Sara and I had talked about this the other day, about our experiences as children. It might be really interesting for you who have friends who have disabilities, with whether you have a disability or not, to kind of talk about some of your experiences when you were growing up. I've got great stories. Sara's got stories of how we really were quite fine until adults got involved, and how adults sometimes really mess things up. But as children, as Sara said, we just adapted. We looked at what people could and couldn't do, and it was kind of a game to figure out how we could be inclusive. So what emboldened you, Sara, at a young age to create empowerment through integration and become a social entrepreneur?
So it's a really good question. So I actually, in undergrad, I majored in math and economics. I had no plan or idea of actually starting an NGO until I actually did this project one summer. I was a sophomore in college. It was a project funded by the Clinton Foundation. We went to Lebanon and we did a summer camp program where we brought together blind and sighted kids with disabilities, kids without disabilities. And the purpose behind it was to kind of bring together an inclusive community, to really have kids learn from one another and play together. Now, this idea came from my own experience as a blind kid who kind of saw the contrast between the US and Lebanon. When I used to visit Lebanon during the summers, that's when I felt like disability was actually a disability. The stigma, the intense stigma surrounding disability is very intense. It gets to you. There's a pitying narrative, the disempowering narrative, the narrative that you feel like you're ashamed of yourself or there's something wrong with you. That gets to anyone. And imagine a kid living with that throughout their whole lives.
Especially developing it.
Exactly. They will not be able to see the potential within themselves and their abilities. And by not doing so, then they become marginalized. They don't pursue their own lives. They become dependent on society. And then the whole vicious cycle turns around and society then sees them as a burden. So looking at that point of stigma as a root cause of many of this marginalization that's where ETI was founded out of that. Let's address the social stigma. Let's address it from both the societal level and then also the individual with a disability.
So why are you so passionate about inclusion?
I feel like people look at, when I say I am so blessed to actually be blind, I think I've been so privileged to be where I am right now because I was empowered. It really goes back to having parents and the community believe in you, and I feel very blessed and privileged. But there's so many kids out there that their potential is lost and they're marginalized, and it's all because of an identity that the society has deemed to be useless or not important. And I think that is such a loss to the world, the society. And it's such a loss for these kids that are actually literally losing their the ability to pursue a full-rounded life. So I think I want to just be able to give back to the community and be able to provide any kind of support to actually change that narrative.
So I'm curious to know what brings joy to your life.
Many things, but I think one of the things that really brings joy to my life is actually seeing a kid that loves who they are fully, a kid that is proud of all of their identities with their abilities and disabilities, and is proud to really speak about it, be proud about it. And I think if seeing just at least one kid with a disability saying, I am proud of being who I am, that just brings joy to my heart. And I think that's what, we're trying to do with ETI, getting every single kid to be proud of their identities.
Thank you so much. It's been such a privilege to have you here. I'd like to thank you. And if any of you would like to learn more about Sara and the work that she's doing with her team, with Empowerment Through Integration, please feel free to contact her. We will have that up on. Can you tell us what your...
Yes, our website is www.etivision.org. So please look us up and follow us on Facebook. Empowerment Through Integration.
Thank you for joining us again. And I'd like to thank all of you for looking in on the human perspective. As I continue to develop our Facebook Live programming, I truly welcome your thoughts and suggestions, as well as questions. I look forward to hearing from you, and we will do another program in the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much.